Hello everyone, my name is Brian Grealish, and each year more hunters are injured from falls than firearms, with tree stand accidents making up about half of hunting injuries in the U.S. Thousands suffer serious injuries, and some falls, even from as low as 8 feet, can be fatal. This highlights the importance of climbing safety. Today we'll explore how simple steps like using a safety harness and proper equipment can prevent many of these accidents. I have over 20 years of hunting experience, mostly in the western U.S., and new to elevated hunting since about 3 years ago. I also have about 12 years of experience with climbing towers and telephone poles professionally. I want to bridge the gap between those two worlds. To start, I want to cover some of the basic equipment that I use and how I inspect that. What I have in front of me is called a climbing step. This gets attached to the tree and what allows me to climb up the tree. This is called a platform. This also gets attached to the tree when I get to my hunting height, and my weight stand on this and supports most of my weight. This is what's referred to as the saddle. This is essentially a body harness that keeps me safe. These are my carabiners, my climbing ropes. This is a bow retrieval system, and this is my hunting bow. I'm going to jump into how you should inspect your gear. At the very least, you want to inspect your gear once at the beginning of your hunting season. Depending on how often you hunt, you might want to inspect it once a month, once a quarter, but at the very least, you need to do an in-depth inspection at the beginning of the hunting season. You want to look for things on your ropes like frays, any mold that could be on there. You want to make sure your carabiners are functioning properly. They're not deformed and out of shape. On anything with webbing on it, you want to ensure the webbing is not fraying, that the stitching on it is still intact. And then anything with metal, you want to make sure it's also not deformed, and then make sure nothing's rusting and it's still in good shape. On top of your in-depth annual or quarterly inspection that you do, you also need to do a daily inspection. Every day you go out to hunt, just get eyes on your gear, make sure nothing's going to fail on you that day and cause an accident. Now that we've talked about your gear and how often you should inspect it, I'm going to talk about personal protective equipment and how to use it. These are your carabiners. I do a step beyond carabiners. This is your normal screw type carabiner. And according to OSHA standard 1910.140 from my professional climbing side, this is not authorized. This is what we use. It takes 2 steps to open the action on this. I have to slide this, twist it, and open it, but it self-closes, self-locks on its own. This does not self-close. It leaves a chance for you to accidentally leave the gate open and forget to close it. Also, these can actually rattle loose and come open on you, making these highly dangerous and just a bigger chance for failure. Another thing that you absolutely need to have is your climbing ropes, and you need to have 2 ropes. 2 ropes is not negotiable. One is what's called a lineman rope. It goes around the tree while you're climbing up, and you work it up the tree so that you're attached to the tree the entire time. You also have what's called a tether. Once you get up to your climbing height, that attaches around the tree and allows you to be secured to the tree once you're at your hunting height. It also allows you to stay attached to the tree if you have to maneuver around a limb or something on the tree. You could attach your tether and detach your lineman rope and work it above the limb so that you can continue climbing. Now that we've talked about the personal protective equipment, I want to do a dive into just some basic climbing safety. First, the tree that you choose to climb up, you need to ensure that the tree is healthy, it's not going to fall over, it's not rotting or decaying. You also need to look above where you're going to climb. Make sure there's no dead branches, what's called as deadfall, that could fall on you and injure you while you're climbing. And then just any other general hazards. If there's a hornet's nest, bee's nest, something that's going to harm you while you're climbing, just do a general inspection of the area. Another important aspect is to maintain 3 points of contact while you're climbing. So only one hand or 1 foot comes off while you're climbing. The only exception to this is when you use your lineman rope and you start loading weight onto it, then you can release your hands to be able to maneuver with your hands or do whatever you need to do. The last piece I want to talk about is while you're climbing, you want to be able to climb hands free. That is where this bow retrieval system comes into. This gets attached to your belt, and the other end of it attaches to your bow and allows you to climb hands free. Trying to climb up the ladder with this in your hands is extremely dangerous and can make it near impossible. As we've seen, the greatest danger many hunters face isn't the wild game or the use of firearms. It's the risk of falling. With thousands of injuries and many fatalities each year, climbing safety can no longer be treated as an afterthought. By taking simple but crucial steps like inspecting your ropes, using the proper equipment, and never climbing while carrying gear, we can prevent these kinds of accidents that turn a peaceful hunt into a life-changing tragedy. So the next time you head into the woods, remember, hunting smartly means climbing safely. Your life and your legacy are worth the extra moment of caution.